Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TrillerTV Talk, where we talk all things Triller TV. My name is Josh Chernoff, and I'm in a little bit of a different venue right now because I am on my road to Mania week here on Triller TV. That's right, I'm coming to you from afar out here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am not alone. Well, I'm alone out here, but I'm not alone in general because joining me, as always, my co-host, Mr. Dave Sturcio. Dave, how are you, sir?
Jealous, first and foremost, jealous that you're out there at Mania week. Listen, I was at the gym today, and to anybody that would hear me, I was wishing everybody a happy Mania week to those who celebrate, right? It just feels like it's a holiday season for professional wrestling fans. Very excited, very jacked up about what's to come on Triller TV this week. I mean, it is just loaded beyond loaded with content and just great matches and events, and you're going to be on the ground for it, and I'm very excited.
I'm even more excited than you. We're going to talk in just a little bit about the collective, GCW collective, and all of the crazy amount of shows that are going to be taking place over this 4-day period. But we also want to take a look back at what happened this past week because, Triller TV, this isn't a 1 week thing. Triller TV is every single day, every single weekend. We had great shows this past weekend, like Defy Wrestling. If you missed that, go now watch it on demand at Triller TV. But one thing that I think we can all agree on for international audiences is that they were chomping at the bit to go to Triller TV and find out what happened after AEW Dynasty. Now, worldwide, you were able to enjoy AEW Dynasty right here on Triller TV, and I hope that you did. But for our international audiences, AEW Plus was the place to be here on Triller TV, and that is where they were able to check out many different matches from Dynamite this past week, from Collision. One in particular, let's talk about this, just a quick conversation about Thunder Rosa in here in this tournament match for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Look at that. I mean, that wasn't enough right there.
That was not the kill shot. That was not the kill shot. We can't say enough. We've spoken about Megan Bayne at length, but let's not forget about the OGs, right? The ones that have been around the block for quite some time. Thunder Rosa has been a phenomenal star in AEW and everything that she's done prior to, but she brought it over the weekend. And let me tell you something, this tournament is getting very spicy, right? Like, you're finally starting to sift out those who are just, they want it better. They just want it better, man. It's just, and maybe that's not the way to say it, but I just feel like, they're bringing their A game. They also know that not only is there second round matchups coming up during the biggest week in professional wrestling, they got to dial it up, Josh, and they got to dial it up. And they started over the weekend, and it proceeds this week as well.
And that's the thing. It all is going to culminate at All In, right? It all culminates with who's going to get, and that's after the tournament is all said and done, because we have Double or Nothing first. But All In, the winners of the men's and women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament, they will face the AEW men's and women's champions at All in Arlington, Texas, at the biggest event in AEW's history in the United States. I mean, if I'm one of the competitors, Dave, and I want your opinion on this, is there a match week in, week out in this process in your entire career that is more important than the match that you have right in front of you in the tournament?
Yeah, like, a lot of the interviews and coverage that you had at Dynasty, you were asking guys like Will Ospreay about, like, the future. Who do you want? Who do you want to face? Who do you want? And a lot of that has to stop. You got to pause that kind of talk, because every match in this tournament is the biggest match of your career. The stakes got raised, man. The stakes got raised. It's not only just, hey, we're going to give you a nice trophy. You're going to, we're all going to remember Owen Hart and everything that he's done for the business and the pioneer that he was. It's not just that anymore, right? The stakes are higher. You now get a chance to become the face of the company, right? So every match coming up, Josh, is bigger than the last. Obviously, that goes without saying. But the matchups, like I said, they're just getting juicier as they go, because you're getting the best of the best. This bracket, I'd be hard pressed to say, Josh, that this bracket was probably their best bracket since starting the Owen Hart Foundation Memorial Tournament. Like, this one was loaded,
it's hard to argue,
with talent. Loaded with talent. I watched Brody King over the weekend. First of all, the guy's a unit. Everything he does, just strikes fear into everybody. He didn't come up on the winning side, but it set up such a big match feel down the road with Will Ospreay and Takeshita. You know what I mean? Like you're looking at dream match type stuff in round 2. That's the crazy part, right? Like you're getting dream matchups in round 2 of a tournament that has 2 more rounds after that. So look, the stakes couldn't be higher. It's very exciting to see it all come together and develop. And I'm very excited to see how it plays out this week in particular.
You mentioned dream matches, and one person who's been involved in many a dream match, especially since getting to AEW, is Ricochet. Not so much a dream scenario this past week, as much as just a couple of slaps on the head. We'll take a look at this here. I mean, clip, first of all, the talent outside the ring is ridiculous. The level of talent standing there. But here comes Ricochet, as you can see, lands on his feet. So impressive, but oops.
You know what this reminds me of? That meme or that sound clip that you hear is like, yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I wound up here, right? Like he's just looking at the camera and he's just like, oh boy. Right? He knows the talent that's behind him right now, and he knows he's about to be on the receiving end of something. And in, I would say, one of the most disrespectful things you could possibly do to a man who chooses to wear the bald look, right? Is slap him right on the head, right? Just slap him right on top of the head, knocks him down. But you can't say enough about the talent that was in that match, in particular, following their dynasty triple threat that we saw that I'm still recovering from. But yeah, it was
Ricochet's defense. I do want to say in Ricochet's defense, he knew that was going to be memed, so he actually tweeted out a green screen cutout of him from that clip and just said, "Go wild, internet."
Yeah, have at it. Just have at it.
So you have to
shout out to Ricochet, man. He just keeps delivering time in and time out of that ring, and like I said, all the competitors of that match in particular were just awesome.
Now, somebody who delivered perhaps on a silver platter a victory for the Hurt Syndicate was MJF at Dynasty. That wasn't something that the Hurt Syndicate was expecting, nor did they want.
They didn't ask for it. They sure as hell didn't ask for it.
They did not. And this past week, as we saw here, once again, we'll take a look right now. Once again, as it seemed like Shelton Benjamin was uncertain, thumbs up or thumbs down. MVP, of course, giving the thumbs up for MJF, and that was just a deep thumbs down. And you can see that it's just upsetting to Maxwell.
All right, like
what?
You just Josh, at this point now, MJF is obviously one of the most established wrestlers on the AEW roster, right? And the fact that he's trying very, very hard and very actively to join the Hurt Syndicate, it just goes to show you that he too would like to reach like a helping hand, like reach out and help and try to improve what the Hurt Syndicate's already doing within AEW. But here's the question for you, Josh. I'll flip this right on you. How many times have we seen MJF just turn his back on somebody or something, where the diabolical ways of MJF, could it just be buyer's remorse, like, or just studying tape that hurts? And again,
sure. And this is what it all comes down to. If you're asking me, MJF, every aspect of this, I don't think he ever anticipated that it was going to be thumbs up all along the board. MJF has a plan. That guy, it's the old saying, they're playing checkers, he's playing chess, right? MJF, he knows what he's doing. And I think if MJF looks at I think he's looking at multiple outcomes. And I think outcome number one is they welcome me in. Hey, great. Now I have the Hurt Syndicate behind me. I have MVP. I have Shelton Benjamin. I have Bobby Lashley watching my back as I head right on back for that Triple B, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work out, you're going to tell me MJF doesn't have a plan B and a plan C and a plan D? Come on. You know MJF longer than I do.
I know who he is and how he works and how he, his demeanor and his plans. And look, sometimes it works flawlessly, right? And he's come out on top. He's used to be the face of the company, the world champion, right? But now it seems like there's a little bit of desperation coming from MJF, right? It seems like there's a little bit of like, hey, I don't know if I can do this on my own anymore because of the fact there's so many, groups and factions within AEW that nobody seems to be doing it alone. Look at Moxley. Look at who he surrounded himself with to make sure and ensure that he's still the champion. So now maybe MJF is thinking, hey, if I ever get a chance to get back at Mox and a championship match, I'm going to need just as much backup as Mox has, because it's never a clean fight, right? Like it just never is. So I respect the hustle at MJF. I just don't know if it's going to work out.
If there was such thing as a perfect transition, that would be it. Because you mentioned Moxley, and let's talk about what happened at Dynasty, Moxley and Swerve Strickland. Well, Swerve Strickland had an opportunity not to get revenge on Moxley, not to get revenge on the Bucks, but he did get an opportunity to bite off a little bit of the Death Riders. And we'll take a look at that right now. I mean, he was in there with Pac. And I mean, first of all, again, Swerve Strickland, you've actually on this show and on the Wrestling Hour, our other show, you've made it very clear that Swerve Strickland is your favorite going today.
Yeah, and I'll stand by that. I just think that he's now on the losing end, and the way he lost at Dynasty, right? Now you're getting an even angrier, a more just, I don't even want to say bitter, because it's just, wrestling happens, right? You understand that there's a game to be played here. But like, as far as Swerve Strickland goes, you are now going to get the very best version of Swerve Strickland back against the wall. He already knows how many people he has to compete against. It's not just Moxley, right? It's the entire group. And now you throw the Young Bucks in this situation, and now nobody knows what the future holds for any of these guys. But one thing I will do, as you're in Vegas, as we see another amazing stomp from the top row. I mean, that just caved his chest in. But like, one thing I know, as you're in Vegas, Josh, if I'm a gambling man, I am not betting against Swerve Strickland and the resurgence and his re-come up to try to get to the gold.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think Swerve Strickland, he had the focus, he had the want, he had the desire. Now I feel like he has the need, right?
Yeah.
And that puts him in kind of a different category. So that's then. Let's fast forward to the future.
Sure.
Because we mentioned it before, we have an absurd amount of talent, an absurd amount of shows lined up for you as part of Mania Week here on Triller TV. Before we get to that, though, one thing that I would love for us to take a look at is last week we talked about Maple Leaf Pro and their return to the Maple Leaf Gardens, and that the promo that we watched, Mauro Ranallo narrating that was, I believe, chef's kiss, if you will, right? Yeah, I know you're feeling that right there.
Yeah.
But there's more. We're digging deeper into this event, and we wanted to show you this promo right now that Maple Leaf Pro has released. So take a look. We'll talk a little bit about it afterwards. Take a look at this.
This has been the battleground of countless wars.
This is the biggest card ever to be put together in Maple Leaf Gardens,
where legends were forged in the fires of combat.
The place is going wild.
And the chosen few became immortal.
The new heavyweight champion of the world, Harley Race.
On Saturday, May 10th, the war returns once more to the Mecca of professional wrestling in Toronto.
In my whole life, I have never been afraid of nothing.
20 men will enter the gauntlet for the gold, each chasing a dream, each fighting for destiny, each seeking their place among the greats.
I don't believe what I'm seeing.
But in this arena, only one will stand tall as champion.
Harley Race is the new world heavyweight champion.
The road to greatness is forged in war. And when the dust settles, a new king will stand above them all.
Toronto, I'm bringing the big gold in. Woo! And I'm taking it out.
Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling presents Northern Rising. Live Saturday, May 10th, exclusively on Triller TV.
Woo! My goodness. I'm watching that thing and I'm like, oh my God, look at the stars that are, that have made history in this very building. We're talking Ric Flair, we're talking Harley Race, we're talking Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I saw Bret Hart in there. Roddy Piper. It's just, the list goes on. And shout out to Scott D'Amore and Maple Leaf Pro, because all of a sudden now you have, I'm not even going to call it relevancy, because obviously Toronto and Canada have the lineage beyond words as far as professional wrestling, but the hype and the buzz surrounding this, the Maple Leaf Garden, like the legends that have been in and out of that place, and now one guy is going to be able to etch his name in history. And I just the list of 20 guys, like, it gets bigger and bigger as the weeks go on, as we get closer to this event. But man, oh man, whoever wins this and whoever comes out of this, they're going to be on top of the world, not just Canada, right? The world.
Yeah, and that's a great thing that Maple Leaf Pro is doing, is it's taking these opportunities. It's bringing stars from all over the world. We have stars from the U.S., we have stars from the U.K., we have for all over the world. But this is an opportunity for Canadian homegrown stars to get that rub, to get that shine, get that opportunity. And so you have to imagine that in this tournament, anybody who's local to the Toronto area or even anywhere in the surrounding area, they are looking at this as a real opportunity. Like you said, this is going to be worldwide, even though this is so focused on the history and the lineage of what Toronto wrestling was and the Maple Leaf Gardens and what Canadian wrestling is as a whole. This opens up even more worldwide opportunities. And so all eyes are going to be on Toronto that night. They're going to be on Triller TV if you want to see it. And how could you not? After that and the previous promo from last week, how could you not want to see that? But Dave, it's time to talk about Mania Week.
Let's do
now,
it.
I'm not here just for the gorgeous lobby.
Yeah, where are you staying? My God, like it just is that your room?
Undisclosed location. But I will tell you something that has been disclosed is this right here.
Oh, baby.
The ID Championship Tournament Round 1 kicks off at GCW at the very first show as a part of this collective here on Triller TV. The stars already, we look at people on here, just looking at the people on here. Jack Cartwheel is a guy who has really made a name for himself recently on the indies. I think people could say everyone on here has made a name for themselves on the indies. Kylie Ray is one that has made a name even outside of independent wrestling and never really caught on exactly. Things just didn't, I think timing is such an important aspect, right? But now she's ready. She's here. She's exactly where she needs to be a part of this event. We have seen that there will be GCW, there'll be a GCW wrestler who will be kind of invited in.
Huge.
Hey, if you can win, you're now a part of this. There are other matches like that as well. Everybody remembers Izzy, the Bailey fan, the number one Bailey fan. She has an opportunity to work herself into this tournament. So we've talked about this in the past, but it bears repeating. Dave, when you're looking at this ID tournament, we've seen in previous shows, and we're going to talk about Bloodsport in a minute, but we've seen at previous Bloodsport events and other GCW events during Mania week, we've seen CM Punk sitting in the crowd. We've seen William Regal sitting in the crowd, and Nick Khan. All eyes from a fan perspective will be on that venue, will be here in Las Vegas, will be on Triller TV all around the world. But for these individuals competing, it's the eyes of the WWE that's on them as well. And I think it's the reaction. So it's kind of like an equal. And this is my question for you. For them, should their focus be more on the WWE talent scouts, WWE talent even that might be there keeping an eye? Or should it be on their opponent and on the fans, because their match itself, the reaction to said match itself is really, I think, what's going to, I'm kind of answering your question for you, but in my opinion, that's really what's going to turn heads is the reaction. We've seen that in the past where people have lost, whether it was like, think of Tough Enough back in the day, right? People will lose and go on to have an even bigger career than the people who won. That happens, everything from American Idol to,
I was just going to bring that up, and I figured, should I? Yeah, I should.
Yeah, you should. You absolutely should. But so here at the same time, what's more important, being victorious in this tournament or the performance you put on?
So pressure is privilege, right? Like it's an honor to have the pressure on you right now. And I think WWE ID, this whole concept is incredible, right? Like what the WWE has done for these up and comers is not only just light a fire under them, and we've seen a lot of them. Like the people you see on the screen right now, I've seen a lot of these individuals in action. But going into the first round of this, of this tournament, of the structure, how they all put it together, and they put together a great structure, because I looked at it last night on X, and I'm telling you, I'm like, wow, this is really anybody's game. But to me, it's not about the winner. It really isn't. And I understand, like, you're going to be crowned the first ever ID champion, and right, those are the things you could put on the old resume. And I get it. I get the want and the need to win. But I think each and every one of these individuals that are in this, ID tournament and in the GCW collective, and specifically the ones they're adding to the matches, like, they have to go into this business as usual. That's what I think. That's the mindset you have to go into. I don't want to say it's just another match for them, but the preparation, you can't over prepare. You can't get in your own head. I watched somebody yesterday on the Masters tournament in golf get in his own head and ruin it on hole 18. He could have won it, but he's like, oh, what about everybody else? Oh my God, who's watching? Everybody's like, boom, misses a putt, right? These are the guys that have to go in there and realize, guys and girls, they have to go in there saying, you know what? I was chosen. I was ID'd for a reason. Let me just go out and continue to be the reason why I was ID'd in the first place. You don't have to dial it up. You got to be just be you, the authentic side of you. And that is what WWE ID is probably looking for, rather than like, ooh, a new move from said star. Like if Brad Baylor goes out there, does his swipe right gimmick, and everybody's really excited and happy and booing him and cheering him, whatever. And he goes out there and lays out and he's like, I'm going to try this new 450 splash. Guess what? 450 is not in the arsenal. Why are you trying it now? It reminds me of other Mania, Mania week moments where we've seen guys try moves that they've never done before just because of the scenario and the atmosphere. You got to go in there business as usual. You got to go in there and prove to WWE ID as to why they ID'd you in the first place. You don't have to go out there and change your entire moveset like this is a video game, right? You don't have to do that. You just have to go out there, give it your all, do what you do, and do what you did to get this recognition in the first place. And if you, oh, by the way, happen to win a match, great. Focus on the next one, but be business as usual. The pressure's on. I get it. It's the biggest stage some of these guys and girls have ever seen. But I truly think if you just continue to stay the course as to who you are, stay true to yourself, things will happen for you organically. Like you just mentioned, some of the people that don't win the entire thing wind up with bigger and better careers. There are people right now that I remember their specific tryouts, right? I remember, like, I know these people, the tryouts. Okay, the tryout didn't go so well, right? Then they go back on the independents, they make a name for themselves. And oh, by the way, now they're at AEW Dynasty or bigger events. They're in Wembley, right? They're doing bigger things because they just stuck to the plan. They stuck to know what they're good at. And I'm very excited to see these guys and girls all play it out. And somebody's going to win and somebody's going to advance. And I get all that. That's part of wrestling. You want a winner, you want a loser. There's no ties, right? But again, I wouldn't get too crazy trying to impress the people in the crowd, whoever they may be, looking at you like, oh, I don't know, man. Was that punch good enough? Like, no, just go out and punch somebody in the mouth. Just punch somebody in the mouth.
Yeah.
See if it works.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think the mindset needs to be focusing on your performance, focusing on on performing as best you can, not hanging everything on, hey, look who's in the audience. And that's going to be tough, man. I can't even imagine, imagine if you and I are sitting here doing this show and our bosses are just sitting right over there watching us. It's
you dial it up.
You dial it up, but it can be, what I'm saying is on the other side, it can be nerve wracking.
Yeah.
You start tripping over your words because you're second guessing everything that's going on. So hopefully everybody in there is coming in, and I'm sure they're all coming in, A game ready to go. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting because it's a lot of times people, and you're a football guy, you'll have a lot of fans who'll say, I prefer watching a college game versus an NFL game. Well, why? Oh, because they won it more. They didn't get the contract yet. These guys, this isn't, oh man, we lost the game, but at least I'm still getting paid $100 million, right? This is kind of what we're looking at. So if there's, and I just can't in good conscience say if there's one event out of Mania week that you want to keep your eyes on, because any event, any match on any event as part of the collective,
right?
My God, can steal the show. But this is one that you absolutely want to keep your eyes on for sure.
Absolutely.
Something else.
And that's what kicks it off, right? I mean, that's the first thing you're going to be covering.
That's what's kicking it off.
Yeah.
Now, we have 2 different days here, and there's a bundle, of course, available. You can purchase this bundle at Triller TV. And I'm talking about right here, the American Dream 2025 in Neon City. Stardom. We're talking about Stardom. All the women wrestlers going to be competing on this card. What a great opportunity to see. Again, this is leaning towards that. Who's the future? Who are we going to see? Maybe we're going to see one day at the end of Mania week, right? At that big show that happens at the end of Mania week. Maybe we'll see them there. Maybe these are the people you're going to see at that massive all-in event for AEW. You don't know. And which is to take nothing away right now from Stardom in and of itself. But again, you are looking at, I don't want to say so much a breeding ground as it is, just independent wrestling, specifically any promotion, be it GCW or otherwise, like a Stardom that's a part of the collective. That kind of tells you this is a place to keep your eyes, because this is where current stars and future stars are going to be spending their Mania week.
Yeah, specifically in Stardom, it's like one of those things where fans, listen, wrestling fans are the greatest, and they're the most passionate people in the world. And something I can say as a professional wrestling fan, a professional sports fan, right? These little moments where you're like, you like what you see now. Well, I saw him when he started. That's like the flex, right? Like when you're like, I saw him when he started in the minor leagues, right? Well, now you're gonna have an opportunity to see somebody at Stardom over Mania week on Triller TV, and then, oh, by the way, if we're sitting here in 5 years on this show and say, hey, remember Mania week 25 when she won this amazing match at Stardom, and you're going to be like, yeah, I remember that. It's just it's a flex for fans to say, like, I saw her when she was this, right? And there's a lot of stars like that who specifically excelled at Stardom, Josh.
And speaking of fans flexing, that's one thing that I do want to mention is we're going to have an opportunity over the week, I should say, throughout the entire week, for fans to send some questions in social media. Keep your eye on Triller TV social media, because you'll have an opportunity to ask questions throughout shows. And I, being there in person on the ground, will have the privilege of answering some of these questions for you. Of course, also stay tuned to social media, because I'm not just there to report back for this show. I mean, that's a big part of it. And we're going to talk all about that next week and everything that I saw, and we'll have tons of exclusives for you. But I'm going to be there in real time. Hey, listen to who I just spoke to. Oh, they're getting ready for their match. Hey, maybe I'm going to talk to somebody after a match, find out how it went. So stay tuned to Triller TV's social media. But one thing I want to talk about, we're going to take a brief step outside of the collective, but something that is still going on Triller TV. That is TNA Unbreakable. That is going to be taking place as well this weekend. So make sure that you do not miss this. And this is where the beauty comes in of Triller TV. If you are going to run into some situations this weekend, specifically, let's say you're joining us in Las Vegas and you're attending one show, you can watch everything on demand. So you can order it and watch it on demand. You can be watching from the collective. Let's say you get the entire bundle, you get that collective, which, while you're considering that, maybe try out that 7-day free trial. I really can't think of 7 better days for you to try that free trial of Triller TV.
This is a no-brainer, folks. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah. What are you doing? First of all, if you're watching this, you're telling me you're going to watch us talk about it and then decide, free? Those are the
worst. Honestly, Josh, not to cut you off, but those are the worst videos on YouTube where you think you're about to watch something and then it's just 2 guys like us talking about it and it's not the actual match. This is the chance to go watch the actual action. Do not miss this opportunity. It's not going to cost you anything but your time, and your time is in Vegas already. So let's go. Let's get on with it.
Do it. You have to. And I think, while you're watching, one's going to be going on while there's something else going. It doesn't matter. Watch it on demand. Order now. Get your free trial for the collective. Check all of this stuff out. Order TNA Unbreakable on pay-per-view, and we'll dive into some results from that next week, I'm sure. But there's a lot more to talk about. And let's just start off with this right here. This is an image. I mean, come on.
Listen, man,
GCW, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 13. Come on.
I mean,
Josh Barnett versus Gabe Kidd.
Yeah, you and I had the opportunity to meet Josh Barnett in person at a GCW event. And first of all, the presence alone, he's carrying himself like he's a rock star, and he is, right? But the fact that he's putting on another event, which is, again, each and every one of these, they go hard. They go very hard. But now you're announcing a match at your own event, Bloodsport 13 versus Gabe Kidd. It's like one of those things where you're like, oh, all right. No, you're not phoning this one in. No, you don't have a chance to phone this one in. You just
that's the best part about Josh Barnett. At this point, Bloodsport 13, with everything he's done in his career, Josh Barnett could easily be sitting back there and be like, I think I'm going to be the guy who comes out with the microphone in the beginning and just says, welcome everybody to Josh Barnett's Bloodsport.
No.
Right?
Not him.
Oh, no. No, he thought he'd have the, what's the opposite of a walk in the park? Gabe Kidd. So he's going to do that. And then, of course, we also have, look at this.
I'm so pumped about this.
WWE is lending out not just multiple, but WWE is lending out Natty Neidhart against Mayu Yamashita. Natty, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, built for this. Yeah. This is, the last graduate of the dungeon. Mm-hmm. This is who Natty Neidhart is, from the famed the Hart family. Like, remove the ropes. And for people who maybe, I think this is a great opportunity. If we can get some clips on here.
Yeah, show them what Bloodsport's all about.
It's just a couple of videos throwbacks here. This is going back to Bloodsport 6, okay? And there's, one thing that you're going to notice here, okay, is, you're obviously seeing Jon Moxley, you're seeing Josh Barnett, but there are no ropes. The ropes have been removed from the ring, and you're also seeing much more of a MMA style, more grappling, more ground and pound. But look at that. You still are going to see professional wrestling moves being put in here, like that DDT. Yeah. But right back to a front chancery, a front face lock by Moxley, and a couple of knees to the head. This is what Bloodsport is. It is a cross between pro wrestling and mixed martial arts, and something that someone like a Natty Neidhart. But look at this. Is just we could just watching this.
Yeah, I know.
By the way, get that 7-day free trial. Go back and watch Bloodsport 1 through 12.
Right,
you can for free for the entire week. Gives you something to do.
Josh, you and myself.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, he's
wide open.
Yeah, that's just another day in the park. It's just another day in the life of Josh Barnett. But no, what I will say about Bloodsport in particular, Josh, and you can attest to this because you and I have both dabbled in the ring, right? We've both had some in-ring matches, right? We have both had in-ring careers. We know how this all works. But imagine having your match. Imagine having any of your matches that you've ever been in, including myself, like not being able to use the ropes as any kind of spring, bounce, saving grace, anything. You take those ropes down, it becomes an all-out brawl, Josh.
Dave, 95% of my arsenal was holding onto the ropes and telling the ref to back them up. So the ropes are a very important part of professional wrestling.
Especially for you.
But we move on here. We see what came up next here. JR Kratos. If you're not familiar with him, get familiar. You'll be familiar after this weekend. A monster of a human being against WWE's Karrion Kross. And man, dare I say, there's going to be a little less Karrion and a little more Killer. This go around, right?
Yeah, it's insane. It's just,
and I've heard, and this is important to mention too, because I've heard people kind of upset. I saw a promo recently from Karrion Kross talking about the AJ Styles match that's taking place that weekend. And somebody put on there, said, man, Karrion Kross cut the best promo of everybody leading up to Mania, and he's not even on the card. There's a reason for that, because he signed up to be a part of Bloodsport. The man chose to be a part of Bloodsport Mania weekend. So if that doesn't tell you in and of itself why you should be tuning into Bloodsport, that he looked at this in his hometown of Las Vegas, Nevada, he
Sin City,
decided,
baby.
you know where I want to be? I want to be at Bloodsport. That's what I want to do. So, I mean, I don't know, Dave, how else we can sell this other than Karrion Kross chose to compete at Bloodsport this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, listen, everybody knows where everybody wants to be, right? And it's a want. I want to be here. I want to be here. I want to be here. This is no different. Karrion Kross wants this. He wants to fight somebody. He wants to be able to put his hands on somebody and fight them, choke them out, punch them in the face. The things that you're allowed to do in Bloodsport. I think this is a challenge for Karrion Kross, right? I think this is a welcomed challenge for Karrion Kross. He knows what he can do in the professional wrestling ring. We've both seen it time and time again, the biggest of stages, the biggest of matches. But when you do something like this outside of your element per se, because there is some MMA and training involved in this, and it's not to take away anything he's done in the professional wrestling world. I'm saying the guy's a weapon. He's a walking weapon. And when you put
if you've ever seen him, sorry to cut you off there, but if you've ever seen him on the mat,
yes,
forgetting what he's done in the past, at past Bloodsports, but Karrion Kross is, I mean, if I'm Kratos, I don't know that there's anything in this world that has ever intimidated me. I'd start thinking about intimidation if I'm getting in there with Karrion Kross.
Yeah, I mean, you have to stare across from your opponent, no matter who it is, right? It doesn't matter what stage, what promotion, whatever. It's you one-on-one with your opponent. And there has to be a certain amount of confidence going into this. We've seen what Kratos can do in his career, right? But when you're staring across from somebody who literally said, I'm all set. I want this. This is what I want. It's not fun to be in a situation like when you're not him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you are going against a guy that wants to do this, that wants to hurt people. Go ahead.
And you might not be familiar, some folks at home, some newer pro wrestling fans, but that bald guy on top of Davey Boy Smith Jr. is Karrion Kross at a previous Bloodsport. This may have even been the very first Bloodsport. And this was not the first, this was not the last interaction between the two. They are, that's something that's still down the line. We have to see the rubber match between these two. But I mean, just this gives you a little bit of an idea.
Jr. is another psycho. Like it's another one of those. I've met him time and time. I've met him plenty of times. Every time I see him, I look and I'm just like, all right, that's just one dude I just wouldn't cross. No pun. I just wouldn't do it. It's just a smart play.
No, and again, just to continue to give you a little bit of an idea of what I mean. Look at him right here. It skips around a little bit, but that's Nick Gage.
I was gonna say that's somebody who asked for pain on the regular in Nick Gage, right? Like this dude has a tolerance that I've never seen. But when you step in a Bloodsport situation with a guy like a Karrion Kross, a seasoned vet of the Bloodsport competition and a seasoned vet of somebody that can go, but there you go. You see some Nick Gage action there. But even Nick Gage was like, oh man, even Nick Gage shocked Nick Gage, saying like, oh, I got him on the ground. Here we go. Let's mount.
And it gives you, and that gives you a little bit of an understanding of in this type of environment, it's one headbutt to the jaw away from taking a guy like Karrion Kross down. But look at that. But then that's where skill always comes in because he found his way to his back, found his way to Gage's back, and Gage found his way to the back of his head. Let's take a look over here, though.
What else?
We have to take a look as more people coming in. We talked about Stardom before.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we're looking at Konami. It's tough to say that name, but for me at least, because I'm used to other names that perhaps she's gone by. But Shayna Baszler in there as well. These two are no strangers to each other. But no. I mean,
and Shayna Baszler, just looking at her, this is like I mentioned this about Megan Bayne, right? Like a couple weeks back when I said, like, if you're thinking about creating a wrestler on a video game, you start with the frame of a Megan Bayne, the power, the look, the skill, right? When you start talking about a fighter, right? Somebody that will just completely go bonkers on you when you drop the ropes and it becomes an actual street fight. Look no farther than Shayna Baszler. Like, this is what she was made to do, and she's going to go out there and do it. This one, believe it or not, Like, I know we talked about Natty Neidhart and Karrion Kross. This one is the one that I'm going to be honest, Josh, as we keep rolling on with these match graphics and everything like that, that's part of this blood sport. I'm getting so much more ridiculously mad that you're out there and I'm not. Right? Like, I really should have been. I know, listen,
Yeah.
busy schedules and things they don't work out all the time, but I will be tuning in.
And when I asked specifically,
Triller TV, man. What's that?
Yeah, I said, please don't let what? So
what's that? Your service out there in Vegas isn't here.
But how about this as well? And while Shayna Baszler, possibly just like a Natty, just like a Karrion Kross, built for this.
Oh my God.
And then it just keeps on going. I mean, the WWE stars that are choosing to be a part of this, again, we talked about before, and this is an important thing too. We talked about before with the college football versus professional football, right? And those people who go like, oh man, I don't have the contract. I'm hungry for this. Let's take a look at Pete Dunne right here. And the same goes for the other WWE superstars. He easily could say, nah, I think I'm going to hang out. I'm not on Mania. I'm not on the card this week or this year. I guess I'll just sign some autographs and hang out. No, they're choosing to get in here because this is what they love.
They're bloodthirsty, Josh. They're bloodthirsty. That's what they want.
I mean, Pete Dunne versus Timothy Thatcher. Again, what I love about WWE giving the opportunity for these talents to be a part of this, and the same as what they're doing with the ID tournament that we're going to see earlier, that we talked about earlier, and we're going to see earlier in the collective. What I love about this is an opportunity for fans. Maybe you have a Pete Dunne fan who's familiar with his work in WWE, but doesn't really know much about him outside of it and doesn't really know what he can do, and maybe doesn't know Timothy Thatcher. Maybe they've heard the name, but they're not as familiar. Maybe they only watch one product. What a great opportunity to become familiar with so much talent from so many other promotions, from so many other products, and to really take this collective to learn more about professional wrestling and what professional wrestling has to offer and why you should be signing up for 7 days free here on Triller TV and then signing up.
Absolutely. And guys like Pete Dunne, and we mentioned Natty and Karrion Kross, and listen,
keep talking. I'm going to roll through some of these because we got to
go ahead, because
keep talking.
I'm here to tell you guys that, like, what you're seeing, and as more Charlie Dempsey of WWE, what you're seeing here, right, is not far off of the arsenal these guys and girls supply when they're in a professional wrestling ring. And what I mean by that is, if you're not, like Josh just said, if you're not familiar with a Pete Dunne, or you're not familiar with a Zack Sabre Jr., right? If you're not familiar with these people, when you watch their match at the collective, at Bloodsport 13, you're going to see what the arsenal is all about. And guess what? I promise you, the next time you see them in a professional wrestling ring with the ropes, they're not going to get away too far away from what you just watched, right? This is their style of play. This is their style. They don't just adjust because of this. They're chosen to do this because this is what they do best. They grapple, they strike, they take you down to the mat, they wear you down. This is what these guys and girls do.
And I should note that we're also going to be paying all kinds of respect to the combat icons that are going to be there in attendance. We're talking Dan the Beast Severn. We're talking Don Fry, Tank Abbott, Butterbean, who, man, if you haven't seen what Butterbean's done, what he's turned his life into now, thanks to DDP, incredible. And then, of course, Mark Kerr. Bloodsport alone. If I said to you guys, Bloodsport, you got to tune in. That's all we have to offer this weekend as part of Mania Week.
Folks,
it would be worth it. It would be.
And I can't wait to see, you just mentioned Butterbean. Can't wait to see him back. There's going to be something. He ain't done yet. Tank Abbott's one of the first fighters I ever watched in my life. So the fact that they're doing something like this and paying homage, and Dan the Beast Severn, and these guys, look, they're legends, they're icons. And I think just by giving them their flowers on this day is very, very special to them, and very special for the fight and MMA community as well.
And we cannot forget that there is, you mentioned Megan Bain earlier. Megan Bain will be in attendance at the Cluster Forever that'll be taking place. But let's not forget about as well, because this is going to happen Saturday, April 19th. But let's not forget about Joey Janela's Spring Break that is also going to take place. Joey Janela versus Sabu. If we can, we'll go right now. I'd love to. You know what? Maybe we can bring up some previous Joey Janela spring break.
If you're looking, look, I've seen Joey Janela spring break in person, right? And I've seen it on the television and the phone and all this. I've seen all these events. I've seen what they're able to pull off. However, Joey Janela's spring break has a certain element of it where it's just an absolute mayhem, just car wreck in the best way possible. A good car wreck, right? And I don't know if there's ever a good car wreck, but everybody survives.
Only in pro wrestling.
Only in pro wrestling are there good car wrecks. But what I will say is, you want to talk about taking a concept like Joey Janela's spring break and putting it in the most like vibrant, alive city and area in the country, in Las Vegas, Nevada. Like, are we kidding? You're talking about a match made in heaven or hell, like however you look at this. But I'm telling you right now, Joey Janela's spring break, there's a match. I'm not sure if you have the graphic. There's a match that he also booked that have like, it's like the over 40 league or something like that, or over 45 or 55 league or something. It's just the match.
The over 75 league.
This
is insane.
They could do whatever they want, and people are glued and gravitated to what is Joey Janela's spring break. I remember when the concept first came about. I've been friends with Joey pretty much my entire career, and I'm like, "You're crazy, man. What are you doing? Right? What are you doing? What are we doing? We're making history, time and time and time again, and now they're going to be doing it at Sin City in Vegas, part of the collective. I mean, this is the one. Like, again, you can't rank.
This is him and Ibushi right here that you're looking at from spring break 7.
7. Yeah, you can't take it away enough of like, you can't rank the events that are happening because every one of them has such a different flavor and a sizzle to it. But man, oh man, again, very angry at myself for not scheduling it properly to get out there. But guess what? The beauty part is I get to watch every single moment on Triller TV, and I cannot wait for Joey Janela spring break, Bloodsport, the Cluster F, the WWE ID. It's all their Stardom. It is all there for you. Effie's Big Gay Brunch, where the only time Effie will be defending the GCW championship the entire week is at that said event. So, man, you cannot ask for a more loaded week of professional wrestling on the biggest week. It's a holiday week for us. So for those who celebrate and your friends and your family are wrestling fans, this is the week we look forward to every single week, right? Everything leading up to such a big atmosphere and a big fight feel. You get it all right here. Bundle yourself up. I know it's going to be hot, but bundle up. And when I say bundle up, go get yourself the bundle and get everything that you could possibly get your hands on when it comes to the GCW collective.
It's absurd the amount of wrestling that all of us are going to be able to take in this week for Mania week. It's phenomenal. It's incredible. Some might say this is, to me, as you mentioned, this is like a holiday. People have always talked about, whether you have the big game or the big show, right? I'm not talking about Paul White, but I'm talking about, Mania. And they've always looked at this as, okay, this is that big week. And once upon a time, the WWE would even look and say, okay, we're doing our show, but we're going to kind of keep people from being able to perform around us. This is our time. Well, the new regime there really sees this, I think. I mean, just looking at the number of talent that's going to be a part of the collective, they understand a wrestling fan's a wrestling fan, right? And they want to see wrestling. They want to enjoy it this entire week. They want to be next week hungover on wrestling, and we will be. And you're gonna get to see a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed Dave and a me looking like
Josh, we'll call him Josh the red eye shirt off.
Oh my God, it's gonna be rough. But listen, to me, the fact that this is now a legitimate part of this entire week, the Super Bowl of professional wrestling, this entire week called Mania Week here on Triller TV has so many matches, so many shows, so much going on. We mentioned before Joey Janela spring break and Joey Janela versus Sabu. We talked about taking the ropes down for Bloodsport. Well, they're taking the ropes down for this as well. And you're thinking to yourself, what? They take the ropes down? They just did that with Bloodsport. That's weird. Well, don't worry, because they're going to replace them with barbed wire. So Joey Janela and Sabu. Brett Lauderdale put out a tweet the other day that he had a conversation with Sabu where he said to him, obviously referencing the first of these incredible barbed wire matches that took place back in ECW, and saying, listen, Sabu, no one's expecting it to be, 1995, 96, whatever that may have been. And he said, good, this is going to be better. And that is frightening.
Yeah, it is frightening. Listen, Sabu is who Sabu is, and we've all known what we've known about him and his history and his lineage of professional wrestling. But let's not forget, Joey Janela is coming off a torn bicep that he tore about 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago. There is no doctor that would approve of this other than the doctors that Joey has found, right? Like, this is a big deal for Joey Janela to make sure he was there. I remember the gut-wrenching feeling of saying, like, I tore my bicep. I just announced the Sabu match. How am I going to do this? Well, he put his nose to the ground. He decided not to listen to anybody doubting this situation, and he will be there, and the ropes won't be, right? So it's going to be one of those things where history will be made at Joey Janela's spring break. History is going to be made all week long, guys. I can't emphasize this enough. It's one of those weeks where, after it's done, you're going to want to just sit down and exhale. And guess what? I guarantee you, this is my promise to everybody out there watching anything GCW Collective. You will not only watch it in real time, but when you're back from your wrestling hangover, you're going to watch it all again because it's going to be that good. And you can only do that on Triller TV on demand. Get involved. There's no other way. Like, I can't stress this enough. It's a no-brainer. The amount of action you're going to see throughout the week. Not just Mania week. Go to Triller TV schedule. There's a lot of stuff happening that might not be happening in Vegas, but it's happening across the pond. Who knows? What I will say is the selections are limitless, and there will be so much action that you're not going to know what to do with yourself. So make sure you get the free trial. Make sure you try us out. Do it right now. As soon as you're done watching this show, say, you know what? Say less, Dave. Boom. Here's your free trial. And by the way, 7 days nonstop wrestling from the GCW Collective. Josh, I'm pumped. I can't wait to watch all of this stuff. I'm pumped for you. I'm pumped for the access that you guys get out there with Triller TV. It's going to be an incredible, incredible week. And I'm just jazzed up about it. And if you can't tell it in my voice, this isn't an act, guys. Like, this is how I am all the time.
This is me. This is exciting. This is Dave. It's overwhelming. This is Dave. He is excited, and I'm excited, and I think everybody who's got their bags packed to head out to Vegas is excited. But those of you who cannot make it out there, don't fret. Don't be sad. Triller TV has got you covered. We've got everything that you're going to want to watch. And those of you who are out there, just like Dave said, Triller TV is going to be here waiting for you when you get back to watch it again, because there's no way you're not going to want to watch at least 5 things. I'm telling you, there are at least 5 things that are going to happen on any given day where you're going to got to go watch that back. I have to watch that back. Because guess what you don't get live? Instant replay. It's true. So listen, before we get out of here, I just want to remind everybody to stay tuned to Triller's social media all across the board. I'm talking Instagram. I'm talking Twitter. Go or X, right? I think hopefully there won't be too many X's thrown up during this weekend. But I'm pretty sure Joey Janela and Sabu will just ignore him anyway. Yeah, right. But
hey, we have to stop the match. No, we don't.
No,
we're good.
No. There's still a little blood left in my body.
You're all going to need oil changes.
But stay tuned. Stay tuned to social media because I will be there live, and I will be sending in some interviews, and I will be there to answer your questions. I want your questions. And we also want your questions here on Triller TV Talk. We want not just your questions, but we want your comments. So next week, we will tweet it. It was tweeted out before for next week, but we're gonna send that out again on social media. There is a link that you can click on where you can actually take your phone and you can record a comment, a question, whatever you'd like, and it will be sent directly to us, which is incredible. It'll be sent directly to the program that we use to be able to produce this show. and we will be able to go right in, boom, click a button, and there you will be. Your beautiful, gorgeous face will be on Triller TV Talk next week. And what we want to hear, not yours, Dave, we're working on one of those pixelated things for you. But
I need a lot of filters.
what we want to hear from you next week, I want video after video after video coming in, telling us your match of the weekend, your match of the week. What was the match that stood out to you from the collective from Mania Week on Triller TV? So everybody, be safe if you're traveling out there. If not, hey, still be safe while you're watching, right? But go right now, Triller TV. If you haven't yet, sign up. Get ready. This is going to be a week that you will never, ever forget. For Dave Sturcio, I'm Josh Chernoff. This has been Triller TV Talk, where we talk all things Triller TV. We'll see you next time.